English article analysis. Type of text. I have chosen parts of the health and lifestyle article, Women and Smoking, which is a quantitative analysis of several surveys and scientific research condensed by the American Cancer Society. The article is written in 11 pages, including 3 pages of references. I have chosen 2 parts of the article which I find relevant to analyze. This refers to page 1 to 3 until the section How can smoking affect your baby's health? And the section Kicking the smoking habit from page 6 until the section Get help to quit. I have marked the PDF attachment for easy reference. I believe the article is well documented, considering the many sources and surveys used as supporting material mentioned on page 8 to 11. The article is, as mentioned, consisting of a variety of facts but does not have a specific case. Summary. The article is about smoking described as an epidemic causing cancer and disease in women. A significant part of the data claims that smoking-related diseases are responsible for over 200,000 deaths each year in the United States. It also states that men are more likely to smoke than women, and that those who often smoke have started when they were teenagers. Smokers' health is affected in many ways as a result of smoking. As mentioned in the section How can smoking affect your health? One significant effect of smoking is the risk of cancer, often encountered in the lungs. Cancer also hit other parts of the body, like the kidneys, liver, or throat. Another negative effect is that smoking shortens lives and raises the risk of heart diseases and strokes. Most people know smoking will damage their lungs as a resulting in trouble breathing or other serious lung diseases, all labeled COPD. The risk of COPD goes up with the amount of smoked cigarettes each day. Smoking may also affect reproduction. It can be difficult to cut down on cigarettes or give them up completely. However, all research indicates that the bad habit of smoking cigarettes only causes damage to your health. There are no positive health effects from smoking. Additionally, this article also includes a reference to a guide How to Quit Smoking that American Cancer Society has released. Highlights. To read aloud, I have chosen 2 highlights from the article because I find them very interesting. The first one is an introduction to the article containing a quote by David Satcher. David Satcher is explaining that the word epidemic perfectly describes the situation of a 600% increase since 1915 in women's death rates caused by lung cancer. He, however, says that we should be careful when we use the word epidemic. What I think he refers to is that people today are misusing the word epidemic. People may use the term as a name for sudden outbreaks of a critical illness, for example, Ebola. In fact, epidemic do not necessarily describe a sudden outbreak or a life-threatening disease. Epidemic can also explain that there has been a development in the rate of a disease. That is the way he uses the word in this context. So now I will read aloud. An epidemic of smoking-related cancer and disease in women. In March 2001, the Office of the U.S. Surgeon General released a long-awaited detailed report called Women and Smoking. Along with this statement, when calling attention to public health problems, we must not misuse the word epidemic. But there's no better word to describe the 600% increase since 1950 in women's death rates for lung cancer, a disease primarily caused by cigarette smoking. Clearly, smoking-related disease among women is a full-blown epidemic. Quote by David Satcher with an MD and PhD. The other highlight I've chosen is from the section Kicking the Smoking Habit. This is highlighting all the good reasons to give up smoking, but also why some people will not quit the bad habit. For example, that some women are afraid of gaining weight. When I first read this part, I thought it would be interesting to know how many of the 17% of smoking women who claims they wanted to quit smoking truly also stopped. Because it is way easier to say that you will stop smoking than actually do it. Is way more complicated. I think that the advantages which they mentioned are good and convincing reasons for not smoking. I consider this part to be an important part of the conclusion. Kicking the smoking habit. In a 2012 health survey, more than 70% of women said they wanted to quit smoking. More than half reported that they tried to quit in the past year. The chance of quitting and staying quit is about the same for both men and women, but there may be some ways more women are different, as you can see in the section below. Quitting can help reduce the risk of many of the health problems linked to smoking. The risk of heart disease is greatly reduced just 1 to 2 years after quitting. The risk of stroke can drop to that of a non-smoker within 2 to 5 years after quitting. Many women are afraid to quit for fear of gaining weight. Some women who quit smoking do add a few pounds, mostly in the first year. It varies, but women gain an average of around 10 pounds after quitting. This amount of weight gain can usually be controlled through diet and exercise, and the health benefits of quitting are much greater than any problems posed by a small weight gain. The rhetorical pentagon. The topic is health and lifestyle, but to be more specific, the topic is smoking among women and the smoking-related diseases. Overall, it is about how smoking affects your health, shortens lives and increases the risk of cancer, damages your lungs. The readers of an article about smoking and its influence on health could be people from all over the world. Of course, the website who has published this article has a special and a broader audience. In an article written by Worldway's Social Marketing about Social Cancer Society, the audience is described as everyone who is fighting cancer is fighting for more than their own birthdays. Everyone who has ever lost a loved one to cancer is wishing that person could have had more birthdays. Everyone who is in jeopardy of ever having cancer will be fighting for more birthdays. The writer is American Cancer Society, which is a nationwide community-based voluntary health organization dedicated to eliminating cancer as a major health problem, as they describe themselves on their website. The organization consists of millions of supporters, and therefore it is not possible to find out who specially wrote this article, as there is no name to it. The article seems credible, supported by the amount of data collected, on which basis they draw their conclusions. The language is formal and factual with many data, for example, the percentage of people dying from smoke-related diseases. The text may be considered simple in the way it is constructed because they tend to use the same words many times, which makes it a lot easier to understand. For example, in general, the less education a woman has, the more likely it is she will smoke. For instance, women who are high school graduates are more than twice as likely to smoke as college graduates. Women with GEDs are more than 3 times as likely to smoke as women who graduated from college. In this example, the same word likely is mentioned several times, and there are only small differences in how the sentences are constructed. For example, the second and the third sentence are constructed in exactly the same way. The circumstances. For many people, smoking is a part of their lifestyle. When they start, most of them are teenagers, and they're doing it to be considered cool, and as they grow up, they get more and more addicted to nicotine because it's stimulating the body. Nowadays, it is mainly the young generation who smokes, whereas the older generation appears to understand the harmful effects to health and as well as the benefits of not smoking. The article is written to get smokers' attention, to frighten, to alert, and to get them to quit smoking. The ultimate scare scenario is death, which they refer to several times in this article. The intention of this article is to inform and warn of the hazards and risks of smoking because of its effects on health. On their website, they say it is their intention to help relatives to understand the complication caused by smoking. The article is in connection with the campaign More Birthdays, also directed against cancer, which helps to extend and improve the quality of life. Quality of life is often depending on your good health. I find this article really interesting, and I think it's written for good reason and has a good case. Smoking and its consequences is a major social problem.